Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. We hope you are enjoying the contents we are bringing to you. So do like, share and subscribe. It motivates us to create new and better content. So let's see what we have today. Today we are going to discuss on NTFS permissions, and today will be the part 1, and let's see what we have in part 1. So we will be discussing on what is NTFS, what are NTFS permissions, then types of NTFS permissions. We are only touching the basic permissions, and we have an interesting question at the end of today's session, and we expect you to answer in the comment section. So let's see what is NTFS. NTFS is a file system. So we are not going to dive into what is file system. So NTFS is the Windows operating system's default file system. It offers wide range of features such as journaling, compression, quotas and much more. And the best part is NTFS also offers a flexible security model, allowing administrators to control how users and groups can interact with files and folders. So this is inbuilt feature of NTFS. And these interactions are controlled through the assignment of permissions. Now, what are NTFS permissions? So NTFS stands for New Technology File System. So the permissions control access to files and folders on any drive which is formatted using the NTFS file system. So NTFS permissions were first introduced in Windows NT and have two aspects or two types of access control built into drives which are formatted with the NTFS file system, namely share permissions and security permissions, or security permissions are also known as NTFS permissions. So if you want to know more about share permission and NTFS permission, the basic difference, so there is a video on the channel which says share permissions versus NTFS permissions. So let us understand types of NTFS permissions. So we have two types: basic permissions and advanced permissions or special permissions. Today we are going to discuss only the basic permissions. So let us understand the basic permissions. So the basic types of access permissions for NTFS are full control, modify, read and execute, read, write and list folder contents. So these are the 6 basic NTFS permissions. So let us discuss them one by one, and you can see this in this particular picture. So these are the basic 6 permissions. So let us discuss full control. So full control allows users to create, read, write, edit and delete files and folders and subfolders. Those users have full rights to even change the permissions of all the files and folders in the directory. That's the reason it's called as full control. So let's take an example. Let's say we have a group named Chicago sales users, and these are the members of the group. And we have a folder named sales data, and this is the property of sales data, and we have highlighted the security tab at the top. Now we'll click on the edit button over here and add Chicago sales users as the in the security and allow them full control. So what will happen is the Chicago sales users, all the members of this group, will not only be able to change the contents of the files and folders, they will be able to change the permissions as well. If they want to add anyone to security, they will be able to add it. That's the reason it's called as full control. So an administrator will be very cautious when giving full control to any group. The next permission is modify. So modify allows users to modify and delete the files, file properties and the folders in a directory. The users do not have rights to change the permissions on the files and the folders. Just like full control, users don't have permissions to change or the rights to change the permissions. So we have a folder name accounts, and we have a group named Chicago accounts users. Let's say we need to grant modify permission to this group on this accounts folder. So this is, we went to the properties of this accounts folder, clicked on the security tab and clicked on the edit button, and we have this screen in front of us, and we added this Chicago accounts users group in the security, and we granted the modify permission. So they won't be able to make any changes over here. So they won't be able to make any changes to the permissions to the accounts folder. They will be able to modify, delete or see list folder contents, whatever, but they won't be able to do anything to the permissions of this accounts folder. Let's understand read and execute now. Now the users are permitted to view and list the files and subfolders as well as execute files. The name only suggests the users has the permissions to read and execute any executable file or a script. That's it. Now the users do not have rights to change the permissions or create any file or folder in the directory, because the permission is read and execute. Now let us understand read. The users are permitted to view and list the files and subfolders only. That's it. They are not even allowed to execute anything. Now the users do not have permissions or rights to change permissions, create any file, folder or execute a file in any directory. It's pure read access. Let's understand write access now. Now the users are permitted to create files, edit existing files and create and delete folders, because it's write. However, the users do not have rights to change permissions or execute a file in any directory. So if you are giving write permissions to a group, they will be able to make changes inside that particular folder, but they won't be able to execute any executable file or say any script inside that particular folder or directory. List folder contents allows user to view a list of all the files and folders and subfolders in the directory. So it's just listing the folder contents along with files and subfolders in that particular directory. They can also view folders, attributes and permissions and even execute files, but they cannot view file content. So they can view all the folder contents, they cannot view the file content. Even if there is a Word document over there, they don't have permissions to open up that document, or even a text file. But the other part is they will be able to execute an executable file, let's say a script or an exe file. So the users do not have rights to change the permissions or view file contents in any directory. They can view folder structure and files only. Now let us take up the interesting question which I learned over the years after, say, assigning permissions. Now this is the current structure. We have two drives, E drive and the F drive. Definitely both are NTFS formatted drives. And we have a group, Active Directory group named HR. And this HR group has full permissions on this folder, full permissions on this folder under the F drive, and read-only permissions on the first folder under the F drive. Now what we did, we copied this read-only folder and placed it under the full control folder under the E drive, and we did the same. We copied the same read-only folder and placed it under the full control folder under the F drive. Now in short, we copied the folder which is on the F drive, which has read-only permissions, and placed it under full permissions on the E drive and full permissions on the F drive. So the question is, what will be the permissions to HR group on both of these folders, on the E drive as well as on the F drive? So do let us know by, say, writing a comment, dropping a comment in the comment section. So let us summarize today's session. So today we saw the basic NTFS permissions. We saw what is read, write, read and execute, list folder contents, modify and full control. So I have just created a chart over here that says meaning for folders and meaning for files. In our next session, we will further refine our understanding on available advanced permissions, also known as special permissions. So thank you very much for joining today's session. Hope you have enjoyed it. And if you feel this channel is helping you to learn anything new, do like, share and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.